Can anybody tell me what you know? I mean, I taught you the main rule, one rule. What do you know about commas? Anything, Sheikhna? What do you know?
When they separate a relative pronoun from the name that it classifies.
Yeah. So when the noun that it's identifying is what kind of noun? What do we call that kind of noun? Proper noun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they actually give you a nice example of that. They give you several examples. Can someone point out one of the examples? Which one would be a proper noun? On page 57.
A.
Is A a proper noun?
B, Professor B.
There you go. So B would be a proper noun. The name of the professor, right? They give his name?
Wilson.
So they say Professor...
Wilson.
I'm going to call him William. William teaches... Oops, I'm trying to reduce it again. These are regular. Yeah, who teaches...
It's okay if you get off with who, right? The same meaning?
Well, no, you don't want to reduce... I mean, you can. Yeah, you can reduce it, of course. Yeah? But we don't want to reduce these. We're just talking about a normal old...
Punctuation.
Yeah. Is an excellent lecturer. All right. So, where's the proper noun here?
To the name first noun.
This guy right here is a proper noun. Hey, listen, a proper noun just means a specific name of something, like ELS, like the One America Square building, like your name, right? New York. So the specific name of anything makes it a proper noun. Anytime you have a proper noun followed by, here's my adjective clause, right? Notice those little guys right there. Got to have commas, okay? Let's take a look. Let's go back up to the top here real quick. I'm going to read the two sentences, and you tell me if you can notice the pauses, all right? Remember, whenever you put a comma, really you're supposed to pause when you read for a second. So let me read these. I just found out that Laura Johnson, who speaks Russian fluently, has applied for the job at the Russian embassy. All right, now let me read it without pauses. That's not the job for you. Only people who speak Russian fluently will be considered for the job at the Russian embassy.
Yeah. The difference, you don't stop.
Yeah, I kept going. Interestingly, it changes the meaning too.
So I didn't stop it, change the meaning?
Well, it has a different idea to it. So, when I put the commas in there, it means...
I want to say something, it's not the rest of the main idea, right?
It's extra information with commas. So I'm just telling you a little bit of extra information about the noun, but it's not really that important to the meaning of the actual sentence. So whenever you see commas, one thing you can do, if you're trying to decide comma or no comma, is get rid of it if it has commas, and read it and see what it sounds like. So, I just found out that Laura Johnson has applied for the job at the Russian embassy. Well, that's the main point of the sentence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, it's nice, she speaks Russian too, but that's just extra information. Okay? And the other thing is they give you her name. So I'm always going to put commas, because anything you say after someone's name is really just extra information. Now, at number 2, only people who speak Russian fluently will be considered for the job at the Russian embassy. Try taking that out a minute. Only people will be considered for the... You mean dogs can't get the job? You see what I'm saying?
Only people.
Yeah, only people. You can't say that. It's
not any people.
Well,
it means if I take the who speak Russian fluently, it means any people, any kind of people.
Actually, it means only people. That means, if I say only people will be considered for the job at the Russian embassy.
The dog's not.
Yeah, it means,
The dog's not.
what are you going to hire, an alien or a dog or something? So, you see how important the meaning of that adjective clause is? Yeah. No commas. You need it in there.
If I can without no comments.
Yeah, the dog test.
Yeah,
Yeah, read it, and if it sounds really goofy or strange or changes the meaning when you take it out, then it probably means no commas. Okay?
If it's with,
What's that?
if it's with, then without comma.
If it's what?
Wait, oh,
Weird.
doesn't make sense.
Right, yeah. If it's strange or doesn't, it's hard to identify who the person is that it's modifying, then it means it's really important. And you should not put commas. Kind of weird, right? I always look at it like this. I always look at it, hey, come up here a minute. So, grab your bag. Grab your bag. Let's pretend the bag is an adjective clause. Yeah? So, I mean, we all know this is Eod, right? And I can take the bag and he's okay. He's still Eod, right? So, really, let's look at these like commas, okay? Now, these are knives, okay? Pretend this is a big knife. These are like two knives. All right, so, I mean, I can just cut the bag from his hand, still Eod, right? Yeah, so no big deal. I can use knives, if I wanted to be rude, to take the bag, right? So, but, on the other hand, let's pretend this arm is another adjective clause right here.
no.
Yeah, right? I mean, if this arm was an adjective clause and the knives represented commas, see now, if I hack his arm, we would never do that. But if I were going to use this knife to separate the arm from Eod, it would be messy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And it would change who he is.
Not Eod
So,
anymore.
should we use commas with his poor arm?
No.
No, don't do it, man. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think of commas, I mean, if it helps you remember, it's kind of stupid, thank you. You can have a
No,
seat.
it's not.
But if it helps you remember, all right, we don't want any blood. So if the adjective clause is an arm in the sentence, then leave it alone. Don't put any commas. If it's just a bag, an extra item attached to Eod,
It's fine.
then that's fine. You can use knives to separate it from Eod. Just don't hurt him, okay? All right. Kind of a dumb example. Where's my book? Here it is. All right, let's take a look at the information here. Fatima, will you read number 1?
General guideline.
Guidelines.
Guideline for the punctuation of adjective clause.
Okay, so there's two big rules.
Yeah.
Read the first one.
Don't use comma if the adjective clause is necessary to advance
Identify. Identify. Identify.
Identify
Good.
the noun is modified.
Good. So they're just telling you the same thing I did. Do not use a comma if the adjective clause is needed to keep his body intact. To identify Eod, right? Okay. Rule number 2.
Use comma if the adjective clause simply give additional information and is not necessary to identify
Good.
the noun and modified.
Good. Again, just what I said. If it's just a backpack or a hat, the adjective clause is just extra, then it's okay, and you need to use commas to show that it's just extra information. Everybody okay? All right, let's take a look at some examples now. Let's jump over here. Badr, will you read A?
Of course. The professor who teach chemistry 101 is an excellent lecturer.
Yeah, are there commas there or no commas?
There's no comment.
See, this is really important information because all I know about the guy is he's a professor, right? I couldn't, if you told me, let's say this is a school, and there were lots of professors, I wouldn't be able to identify which one unless you gave me that extra information, right? So it's really important. No commas, man. We'll have a bloody mess here, right?
Yeah.
Leave the sentence alone. All right. B. Hamoud, read B.
Professor Wilson will teach chemistry 101. Cameron is an excellent lecture.
Well, we know why this one's doing what it's doing. You gave us his name, and we know exactly how to find the guy, right? So just extra information. It's okay. Put commas.
But I can.
Yeah.
But I cannot use the comma. What difference?
You must use commas. Listen, remember the rule I taught you? If this is the name of a person or like a thing, like the One America Square building, Chase Bank. If this is a proper noun, remember this is all about describing the person or thing. So what it's saying is comma means it's extra information. And if someone says, oh, Fadhila, the girl with the blue headdress on is waiting in room B9, that's just extra information. As soon as they give me your name and say Fadhila, I mean, the whole scarf thing, it's just, okay, that's nice. I mean, they help me maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But you don't need, then you need commas there.
I must write comma. When I
You
write
must.
comma, this one.
Depends on the situation. If the subject, the adjective clause is modifying is the name of a person, you must use commas. Okay? Or, if it's just extra information. Okay. Let's look at C. C.
Okay. How which consists of 8 principal islands. Island is a verification spot.
Yeah, good. Commas or no commas?
Come on.
Yeah, and it's just following that rule again. Hawaii. It's the name of the island.
Yeah.
All right. Read D. Shafir.
Mr. Smith,
Again,
Mrs. Smith,
Mrs. Smith.
who is a retired teacher, does volunteer work at the hospital.
Good. Again, Mrs. Smith is the name of a person. Okay? All right, E and F. Now this is interesting. Read E.
The man who or whom or that I met teach chemistry. If Mr. Lee, whom I met yesterday, teaches chemistry.
Ooh, interesting. Little rule here. Okay? First of all, E is, remember, that's just the rule when the when the adjective clause has its own subject. They're just telling you, and there's no commas. Okay? So you have the man I met teaches chemistry. Who I met, that I met, or nothing I met teaches chemistry. There's no commas, so it's important, okay, to the meaning of the sentence. That's the first thing, but also it has its own subject. When that's the situation, okay, you can use all those options. And you guys already know that because we covered it earlier. Now, be careful. When you get to F, Mr. Lee, the name of a person, comma or no comma?
Comma.
Now I need a comma. Now the rule changes.
Why?
Mr. Lee, whom I met yesterday, teaches chemistry. Here's the deal.
The information is not.
Because you said Mr. Lee.
The information I don't need it.
Well,
Mr. Lee teaches chemistry.
Here's really why.
Right?
Here's the rule. I don't know why, it's just the rule. Just remember the rule and don't break the rule. Whenever you use commas in this kind of a situation to describe a person, okay, which, I mean, every time you have the name of a person, right, you're going to use commas. So remember, when you use an adjective clause after a proper noun with commas, your only option, it says, look over here, when commas are necessary, the pronoun that may not be used. You cannot use a that inside commas when you're describing a person. You must use a whom, a who, a which, a whose, a where, or a when. Just remember, never use a that inside commas. Are you with me? That's the easy way to remember. Just never use that inside commas. Everybody okay?
Yep.
Okay. G. Now, so read G.
We took some children.
Hold on, yeah.
What's the difference between B and F?
B and F,
Because
there is really no difference, except they use who up top and they use whom down below. The other difference is, look up top at B.
B
has
give information about
Professor Wilson.
Okay.
Well, hold on a minute. Look at B too. Look at the adjective clause. Who teaches Chemistry 101? Does the adjective clause, what's the subject in the adjective clause? Who teaches Chemistry 101? Who? Can I use a whom right there? No, I can't. See? Be careful. Yeah. Down at F, whom I met yesterday, what's the subject? I. So I just learned inside the commas I can't use a that, but I could use a whom there, whom I met yesterday. I could use a who I met yesterday. That's it. Or nothing. I met yesterday.
Inside the comma, between two commas.
Correct. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
We took some children on a picnic. The children who wanted to play soccer ran to an open field as soon as we arrived at the park.
Okay? Okay, listen. This is the trickiest part of adjective clauses. When you have a situation where you have to make a decision about some information and whether or not to make it exclusive or inclusive to the noun in front of it, you use commas in this way. And the question is, do you see how it limits the meaning when you put commas in? So again, he just read G. We took some children on a picnic. The children who wanted to play soccer ran to an open field as soon as we arrived at the park. Now read the next one.
We took some children on a picnic. The children who wanted to play soccer ran to an open field as soon as we arrived at the park. And the other played a different game.
Good. Now,
Extra information.
yeah. So listen, look over at G. This is really important to help you understand these. G, it says, the use of comma means all the children. So when you see commas in G right there, we took some children on a picnic. The children, comma, who wanted to play soccer. That means all the children wanted to play soccer. Think of it this way. If I were to remove the adjective clause, the children ran to an open field as soon as we arrived at the park. That means all of them, doesn't it? And then that information in the brackets tells us they were all going to go play soccer.
But if some.
In H, correct, it means only some. So the children who wanted to play soccer ran to an open field as soon as we arrived at the park. And then it says the others played a different game. So commas means all. When you don't have commas, it means only some. Are you okay? Take a break. When we come back, we'll practice this.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Give me a zero for